Alright guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I am going to be counting down my worst hotel experiences of all time. Obviously by now I've travelled to 3 different continents and I've been on quite a range of different holidays. There's been some, really good hotel experiences, but there's also been some really bad hotel experiences. So today I'm going to get into that from, cockroaches to being locked down in the room. These are my all-time worst hotel experiences. Number 5 is the Weed Hotel at Manchester. Now 3 of my worst hotel experiences are all from hotels in Manchester that I was staying at before I had a flight early the next morning. And this one is the least concerning of the 3, but it's still bad enough for me to put it as number 5. So it was a pretty low budget hotel, very cheap. The room wasn't great. The bathroom looked like it was from the 70s. But, we were only staying there for one night. But the worst thing by far was when you open the door, all of the corridors and basically nearly the whole of the hotel just stunk of weed. Now, I don't know what sort of clientele this hotel had, but they were clearly smoking something strange, because it just stunk. Number 4, cockroaches in Fuerteventura. I actually really enjoyed my stay in Fuerteventura, and we even got a free room upgrade due to the hotel not having our room ready when we arrived. So we got a 2-bedroomed apartment, but unfortunately there was a little bit of a cockroach problem in this apartment, and there were a few occasions where we did get disturbed by these dirty creatures. The most notable one, the one which I got on film, was we had just done a prank on Ethan where we had basically barricaded him into a room, and there was a big play fight and everything like that. We're making a lot of noise, and someone had knocked on the door, because we just heard this knock on the door. So we turned all the lights out, because we're we don't want to we're just going to pretend that nothing happened and that it wasn't us. So we turned all the lights out, and we're sitting there silently trying to work out what the hell was going on, quite freaked out. And then I just see this thing scurry past my foot on the floor, and I'm like, what the hell? And then I see it goes under the bed, it comes out the other side of the bed, and I just see it in a little shimmer of light. This cockroach, I'm like, it's a fucking cockroach. So I grab a shoe, and I managed to kill that one, and I got that one on film. But there was another one which we saw. I think it ended up going up the seal of the toilet, the inside of the toilet, and it went up there. We never saw it again. Number 3, fire alarm in the middle of the night. So I think I was staying in London, somewhere in or around London, when this happened. But yeah, basically the fire alarm went off in the middle of the night, which obviously resulted in a horde of half-asleep zombies in pyjamas trying to stumble their way out of the hotel at 2 in the morning. And it was safe to say that everyone did actually get a full refund for their stay. There wasn't actually a fire as well, thankfully, so we were allowed back in, but we think again it was something to do with someone smoking something in the room, which set it off. So that was an interesting experience. Number 2, dodgy windows and noise pollution at Manchester. So I've combined these 2 experiences into one here, but I seriously must be the unluckiest person when it comes to getting a bad pick of hotel rooms at Manchester Airport. On both of these 2 occasions, I couldn't sleep properly at all due to noise coming through the window. So the first one, the one which people probably know about, was last year before we went to the Caribbean. The flight was early in the morning, so we're staying in a Premier Inn near Manchester Airport. And me and Wynn's room, we walked in, and one of the windows was, the seal of it had all gone, and it was basically falling out of place. Like, if you shook the window, the whole window literally moved. There was like a draft coming in, and there was obviously noise. Holy fuck. But the even more worrying issue was that there was actually two windows. So that was the inside one, but then there was an outer window. But that outer window was open. They'd opened the outer window, and you couldn't open the inside window to shut that outer window. So there's a massive amount of racket coming in from these aeroplanes. So I ended up taking all of the stuff off the bed and sleeping on the bathroom floor. So that was a unique experience. And the second time, which was more recently, it was during the winter when we had one of them winter storms. And this time, unfortunately, I couldn't actually sleep in the bathroom because I was staying with my parents, and we had a flight the next morning. And the window, it had like little vents in the window, and every time the wind got up, there was just this almighty like howling racket through these. I mean, you've never heard anything like it. Just absolutely unsleepable through these vents. So I went to the hotel reception. I was like, you know, we can't sleep. It's just impossible, because like you were falling asleep for 10 minutes, then the wind got up, then you were falling asleep again for 20 minutes, then the wind got up again. So it's like, have you got any tape or anything, like you got something to block the vents? They're like, oh, we've got sellotape, but that's not really going to do the trick. So yeah, they were to really, you know, the hotel was good, but in terms of like what I was there for, which was to sleep, so I was refreshed for getting up early the next morning on a flight, you know, it really not very good experiences there at all. But now on to the number one, which beats all of these by far. Number one is being stuck in Hurricane Irma. So when we went to the Caribbean the first time in 2017, we were very unlucky and ended up being on the path of one of the worst Atlantic hurricanes on record, Hurricane Irma, which was a Category 5 hurricane with wind speeds of up to 180 miles an hour. Now, luckily, the storm actually ended up being out at sea, so we only got the outer bounds of it. It was sort of no worse than the tail end of one of the hurricanes that we get here when it's a really stormy day and all the winds are blowing and people's bins and trampolines are flying about. It was no worse than that, so it wasn't like it wasn't absolutely life-threatening. But the whole hotel went on to lockdown, and I didn't want to stay in my room because basically, like, my room, it was on the very top corner of the hotel. And obviously, like, none of us had ever experienced a hurricane before, so I was just like over dramatizing the whole thing. I was thinking, like, fuck, what if like a tree like smacks into the side of the hotel, or like the hotel starts crumbling at this sort of like corner, and I just wake up to find out that the roof is falling in on us or something. So I was like, I want to be away from this corner in case like a tree or a car like bloody flies into the thing. So Badger's room was like much more protected. It was sort of like in the middle of the hotel. It had like rooms either side, and it just overlooked the pool and stuff. So I was like, that seems like a better bet. So there was me, Badger, Becca and Molly all in this one room. Obviously there was only like a double bed, so I didn't have anywhere to I ended up sleeping on Mr. Quacker's the inflatable duck. And we did manage to get some sleep because, the hurricane turned out to not be as bad. But yeah, the whole hotel was on lockdown. We had a curfew for the rooms, so we couldn't leave the rooms during that time at all for any reason. And I remember before the hurricane hit, I was really concerned because the hotel, obviously the rooms were furnished. They had like doors and windows and they were protected. But the hotel itself didn't have any doors or windows. So when you're walking through the corridors, there wasn't any like windows. And I went down to the hotel reception and I was just like, are you not like boarding up stuff or like protecting the hotel in some way? Because if like there's like loads of torrential rain, it's gonna like flood into the corridors or like make the corridors like a wind tunnel, so you open your door and just get fucking blown away or something. And they were pretty unhelpful there in terms of that, and they just, I mean, obviously they knew more than what I did, but it was a pretty scary experience, and the hotel didn't really do a lot to make you feel safe, I guess. The other reason why I put this at number one is because in the same hotel, during the same holiday, me and Badger both got ill, and the hotel was also situated right next to what was basically like a swamp, like a mangrove with standing water. And because it had no doors or windows in the main complex, there was just loads of mosquitoes that attacked you and bit you every night. So there's a lot of reasons why this hotel experience ranks as number one. There was actually there was a point during the holiday where I got so angry because TUI they weren't communicating very well at all with what was going to happen with our flight, because that got cancelled. And I kept like looking through the hotel book, the rep book in the reception with all the updates, like the big TUI book. There was like a lack of communication. I remember just being so angry that I'd picked up this book to check and see if there was any updates on our flight, if they'd put any information in it, and they hadn't. So I flung this book down, like right next to where another hotel rep just happened to be having a nice conversation with another holidaymaker. He just looked up at us like that. I was just like, I'm so sorry. Like, it's literally just flung it right down in front of him. So yeah, that was a strange holiday experience, and considering we paid over £1,000, well over £1,000 for that holiday, it was definitely the worst holiday experience that I've had. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Leave in the comments your worst hotel experiences, because I'd love to hear some of those stories. If you're new to watching my stuff and you haven't checked out 4 Idiots, all of this stuff was from my travel web series 4 Idiots, so you can see loads of the rest of the films that all of the footage that you've seen in this was from. So go and check that out, and I will see you in my next video where I'll be doing more of this sort of stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.